You know, we look around rooms sometimes, and the makeup of a 30 under 30 is really not represented in the group. And I think it's highly, highly important that we continue, whether it's through the universities or whether it's through some type of programs, to encourage young men and women to consider our industry. Because number one, we know it's a great industry. Number two, we know it is an incredible opportunity for growth. It's one of these industries that if you want to be domestic, you can, but if also you want to explore the world, this is an industry that gives you that opportunity. So I think it's critically important we continue to build on it, and we expand the class, and we make it a global opportunity for people.
So the world is moving at unbelievably rapid pace. Marketing as a discipline is moving at an unbelievably rapid pace. And so therefore, marketing destinations is in the same space. So I think, not that these weren't factors in the past, but I think you have to be as nimble as you've ever been. You have to be collaborative and integrated. You have to be able to not only understand how to market to, but embrace very diverse and different communities of people that you're talking to. And I think that requires really special people to be able to do that, and also makes you dig a little deeper when you're interviewing people to make sure that they have those kind of qualities to be able to do those kind of things.
I want them to have a passion for our industry. I want them to have a genuine concern and commitment to customer service. Whether it be an attraction or a DMO or a hotel, they have to value and respect and appreciate customer service.
But one of the things I've really encouraged people over the last few years, whether it was in Seattle, Indianapolis, Chicago, or now here in Washington, D.C., it is I really want the first week to be orientation, whatever that means, but really taking the time without having an immediate schedule of meetings, get around and talk to people. Walk around the organization, find out things within departments that you may not necessarily interact with on a daily basis. What do they do? Get to know the person. Ask a lot of questions. And they may sound rather fundamental, but so many times we get people in organizations, we give them, quote, a day of orientation, and then we expect them to adapt to our culture. But no, what we try to do is really take our time and allow somebody to get in, and then basically as the weeks progress, you give more, but let's just try to not overwhelm people and have them go back at night and say, God, what did I get myself into?
It used to be that it was from the top down the way that the organizations would operate. And what I'm seeing now is much more collaborative. They care about the people. They're more concerned about the environment that they're working in and making sure that it's a successful environment. They're individuals who have the vision, but they also can implement. Yeah. And most of the leaders that that I've learned from and worked with here recently are the ones who are saying, "What can we do together? How can we make this better?" They're able to get a lot of work done. They have the vision as to where they want to go, but they also are able to carry out those plans, hire the right people, give them the right tools.
The advice that I give to new employees, you have a question about something, or, hey David, when you're back in the office, can I spend 5 minutes with you? I want to kind of run an idea by you, and so if we have that kind of openness and approachability as as a CEO of my organization, if I don't have that approachability, then my staff is kind of held back in their creativity.
Every position that you're in is an opportunity for you to grow and learn and become better at what you do. And I think that you have to be present in all those opportunities. And there's another cliche, it's being in the right place at the right time. But it's so much more than that. It's being prepared to be able to answer the challenge that's presented to you when you're in the right place at the right time. In most cases, they're going to be working for and around very talented and smart people, and particularly when you're new hire. There's no way you know everything, and there's no way you have all the answers. But if you're an engaged and immersed colleague and also clearly understand what your contribution is, then it's a great way to contribute and to grow in the position.
I meet with every new hire typically within 10 days to 2 weeks after they've started. And I think it's really important because the departments are very focused on their specific agendas, and I'm focused on the organization overall. So what I tell them is, make sure that you know that the door's always open.
If you start with the customer and back out from there, and again, the customer, in our world, the customer can be an attendee, can be an exhibitor, can be an event planner, can be a CVB partner, can be an elected official. But forget about who that customer is, but if you're focused on the end user, the customer, the person that you are trying to deliver something for, and use that as your focal point and back out from there, then you can't go wrong. I think if you focus on your brand too much, or your culture too much, or the technical aspects too much, then you lose sight of what you're really there to do.
Never be afraid to try, to attempt things. That I'm here to facilitate your job. And I'm expecting total performance and that the team effort that they have to put into what we do is extremely important. But mainly is, start working, keep doing things, try things. If you fail, don't worry, we'll fix it, but never stop.
I ask them to put themselves in my shoes. I'm the CEO. I'm responsible for everything that takes place. And I have hired you, and so I've made an investment in you. And what I need you to do is think the way that I would think. So what's the return on the investment that I've made? I want you to treat everything that we do as if it's your own, not the company's. I want you to know that I'm going to support you in everything that you do, as long as you're following the procedures and the programs that we have. I would prefer to try and slow you down than to light a fire under you to get things done. I want you to take some risks, because that's where successes and new possibilities come from. But I also want you to know that this job shouldn't be your life. You have to have a life balance. And if you have family, the family comes first, job comes second.
I ask them questions primarily. I want to hear from them. What have you learned? What have you found? What surprised you? Was the things that disappointed you? Is it what you expected it was going to be? Did you arrive? Did you feel comfortable? How were you brought into the organization? Were you given an opportunity to learn and not just be thrown right into the job immediately? Did we really transition you in a way that made you feel not only welcome, but embraced as you came into the organization? Or did we just throw you in a corner and tell you, here you go, and go off and do your job? And some of us can remember that was commonplace.
You want to make them feel comfortable. You want to make them feel welcome. You want to make them feel a little challenged, from day one. It's like not a negative thing. I think the most successful people are always going to be people that feel that they are being encouraged and supported and enabled. And I think from the beginning you have to communicate to them that what your culture is. You got to communicate to them what their values are and how you expect them to fit in. And I think you got to be there for them. You've got to be there to mentor them. You got to be there to support them. You've got to be there to make sure that they are successful, because it's only when your hires are successful that you're ever seen as being successful. So the key is to make sure that you're doing from day one what you can do to make sure that these people are successful, they're happy, they're flourishing, they are productive, they are creative, and they are moving forward, because that takes your organization forward, that takes you forward, that takes them forward, and ultimately everybody's successful.